Good morning, dear panelists. We are here to discuss the supermarket remarkable stories as well as the extension of the same format uh, in food when we're talking about Haldiram and in the category that you are in. We are here to listen your story. We are here to understand how did we went about creating the kind of experience that is being uh, delivered at the store. Also, I'm more interested to know your regional visions in how you went about uh, understanding the customer experience in your own way, and also what kind of best practices are we following in the store for ensuring that the best customer experience is delivered. So I'll begin with Ms. Biyas, who is Executive Director for Arambagh Supermarket. You talk about neighborhood convenience store. Now, how do we understand that?
Okay, so before defining that, I'll just give you a brief background of how this chain came into being. So I'm from a business family. Both my parents are into this family business, and my father owns a completely integrated poultry business. So he used to sell his brand of chicken from the small stores, which were typically 100 to 150 square feet area shops, small shops. Now in 2000, back in the time when nobody really understood what is shopping under one roof, my parents had this idea that why not sell something else from those stores, and people who come to buy chicken, they will need spices and other related items, so why not sell them? So they started selling some spices, some groceries, and it clicked. And at that time, like this getting everything in one store, that concept was new in Calcutta. They also started selling the best quality grocery food items. That also people really liked, and that's how the chain started. Now, since it was generating more revenue, this Arambagh Foodmart chain expanded parallelly with the Arambagh's chicken store. The first store was very small. Then slowly we decided upon this 500 to 600 square feet area store, which was optimal for selling mostly around 90% of the monthly requirement of a household. And also it was generating the highest per square feet sale for us. So this is a mixture of, this is positioned between the Kirana store and a supermarket. This is a local supermarket, this is a neighborhood store. So we provide mostly the convenience of shopping. Quick reach, people can reach any store near to them like within 10 to 15 minutes. They get most of the items. We provide free home delivery, any distance, any amount, good quality grocery. It's a no-frills store. And that's how this neighborhood supermarket or neighborhood store is.
Okay, great. Kailash, I just wanted to ask you one very important question. Every store of yours has got the same taste of food that you go in, the same consistency of portion, the same kind of customer experience. With this, in this kind of business, whereas we have transformed from a consumer, the packaging food to a restaurant kind of transformation that you have done, what did you do so well? What goes in the back end that you're able to consistently deliver the same experience in all the stores that I have personally gone across, and most of us will agree to that?
Thanks, Santush, for asking this question. It's a very pertinent question. A lot of people ask me. Jokingly, I say this is a trade secret, but but I think in a food industry, the main DNA of food industry is that how consistently every day and every customer you deliver the same taste profile. Hence, the customer is compelled to come back again and again.
Yes.
Haldiram, I would like to start with a brand which is very versatile. And journey started from a bhujia selling company, and today it's one of the biggest food aggregator in terms of national footprint. Right. And very soon it will be into an international arena as well. So when the bhujia thing started, we diverged into mithais, and then we realized that there is a concept called showroom, which used to be very prevalent in early 90s, when you see that apparel showroom has to be there. Whatever you make, there has to be a place where you can showcase.
Right.
And hence, under one roof, the whole concept of Haldiram outlet started, and which was first in Chandni Chowk, when I talk about north and east, and today it's almost more than 100 plus. But suddenly what we realized that it's one of the most versatile brand, because the customer who comes into Haldiram, they come with no preset mindset. They just want to come and indulge. And hence, when they start having food inside the restaurant, one thing which keeps compelling them to explore and buy more, which is the packed food, sweets.
Yes.
So that helps the brand to grow, both top line and bottom line, and hence that also gives a lot of encouragement to ensure that if customers are there to push us, why not we ensuring that we give them absolutely the right quality of food every day. And that is the challenge which customers keep throwing at us.
Right.
Because you will find a lot of corner sweet shops, you'll find a lot of competitions who are trying to deliver the same thing. But consistency is the name of the game, and a lot of QSRs thrive on that, especially the multinational. So with very early stage, the family realized that they have to be consistent, otherwise they'll not be in the game. And hence the back-end process started getting strengthening. Right. And second thing, what Haldiram ensures that it is delivered is the freshness. And that is something which is big back-end supply chain, logistics, production modes, and so on and so forth. It's so nicely integrated. There are more than 10 different factories through which the products are fed into different outlets. So these are big network of supply chain which is managed day in, day out, 24/7, just to ensure that every time a customer walks inside, whether it's a fresh sweets or a product served in the restaurant, or for that matter, even the packed food, what you get outside and what you get in Haldiram, you'll find more fresher. Jokingly, I was just observing one customer, and there was a Haldiram and there was a supermarket next to us. But a customer did all shopping from supermarket, but to buy a Haldiram packed food, they came into Haldiram and then they bought it. So I was just very curious to know that, why is it doing that? And it's just a consumer mindset that they feel that यहाँ खाना या packed food fresh मिलेगा, वहाँ हो सकता है कि थोड़ा सा 1-2 महीना पुराना हो. So these are all consumer insights which, if you understand and you start imbibing in your organization's DNA, it helps you to build the organization not short term but long term, and you start taking all the best practices, whatever is there in the industry. It doesn't matter whether you are Indian brand or you're multinational, because at then it's run by the people. And if your people are strong, they understand the process very well, I don't see any challenge why it cannot be delivered across the customer.
Kailash, you know, the reason we have this set of panelists is actually for that Bharat story, you know. So, you know, when we talk about running such large formats, people talk about chief culture officers, people talk about chief HR officers, you know, who build in these cultures because they are growing. And, you know, I can give you some time to think about it, but I still need that to think that you do differently, you know, which I personally and even the audience is interested to know, but I'll come back to you. We want to understand, in spite of not having those checks in place which people normally talk about, you are still excellent, you are there, you're not less than anybody else, because it's visible in your experience. So I would definitely want you to address this 1 or 2 things that you do differently as far as Haldiram is concerned.
Sure.
So I'll come back to you, but then I'll come to Vineet now.
Sure.
Bharat story, you know, hello, yeah. So your stores are very, very, when you enter, you know, you are entering an Indian kind of supermarket where your people, the way their, the uniforms are, the way they deal with the consumers, the way you have stacked your merchandise within the store. Again, you know, you are giving tough run for money to others, you know, in terms of how you are operating. I'm more interested, or we're more interested to understand what goes in the back end, you know, in terms of your customer experience, dispute resolutions that you know, come across with consumers. How do you plan this whole concept that you think is a Bharat story for you?
So, it's rightly said by you, like, our overall, like, we have the 400 stores now. And we started our journey in 2002. First store opened in the Gujarat. And when people were stuck in the COVID and all, so we doubled our store. Before COVID, there were the 200 stores we have, and now we have the 400 stores. So journey got doubled in the COVID last 2 years time only. So when I'm talking like, as you know that the 70-80% of the stores, like they are in that either tier 3 or the tier 4 town. And we are serving the real, I can say the real Bharat. And proudly, just recently, some time back, we revisited our vision statement. Now the idea is that like how we can become the #1 retailer, the omni retailer in the Bharat. So that's the way we are looking for. And when you're talking about the customer experience and the other things, like since as you know, when you're entering the cities where no any modern trade or nothing like no any supermarket, no large stores were there earlier. I'm talking 5-6 years back. Today you go, I think you will find in the district headquarter, the other small towns like 50,000, 1 lakh population size towns, the stores are there. So their expectations are always like, obviously when they are looking like, acha store hai, quite large, good looking, what I want, I think I am getting it, the varieties are humongous and all. So obviously a lot of work happening behind the scene, I can say. In terms of serving our customer. Today we are lucky in terms of getting the almost 3 crore customers we are serving at India level. And when I'm coming to the customer experience, like the things always start with the like what best we can give, because ultimately the customers are coming to buy the product and what they are looking for the value out of the product. And apart from the value, like they are seeking the great experience in terms of the overall like service, what they want, whether they are getting it or not. So these things does play very critical and important role for us. So far, like recently 1.5 years back, we started our like customer database. You know, today we are calling data is the new fuel. And like today, at least we know like who is our customer, what they want, what they are buying, what they are not buying, what can we do to indulge them in buying what they want. And even what we want to sell also sometime. So I think a lot of things are happening behind the scenes.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So I'll come back to Ms. Biyas. You know, if some of you would like to, know, I've just read a little bit about her company, and then, very distantly you feature that we take orders on phone. There are almost 64 plus stores in West Bengal, and they still highlight that we take orders on phone. And the second interesting thing that I saw about your brand is say no frill merchandising. It's no frill merchandising. Now, no frill merchandising is primarily saying do not pack the product in such a way that you make that expensive. Don't decorate it so much that you make that expensive. I mean, brilliant. And we are talking about a time, and I give you a small experience. We ordered a food from a food aggregator the other day, and the food didn't come. And when I tried calling the food aggregator, he says, sir, खाना तो निकल चुका है, पहुंचा नहीं, वो मुझे पता नहीं है, क्योंकि हम तो सिर्फ खाना लेके जाने के लिए बने हुए हैं, खाना जिसने दिया है उसने तो दिया ही नहीं है, we didn't get the food. I said, अरे no, I ordered from you. So they absolutely are very stereotype answers that you get. And there was a birthday celebration at home and you are waiting for the pizzas to come, it never came. And they said, we'll resolve your problem in 24 hours. I said, I need the pizza in the next 30 minutes and you're saying you're going to resolve in 24 hours. But I felt that there was a need that I could call up the store, speak to the store manager, and say, this is the grievances that I had. And I'm sure the store manager has that empowerment to say, हम फिर से बना के आपको भेज देते हैं, within 30 minutes I would have got that food, but it didn't come the other day. So we made that all noise about it. But I mean, this is something that I'm very, very interested. We are interested to know you still are focusing on telephone orders and no frill merchandising, and you have 64 stores. Today, when people have 2 stores, they start thinking about ERP, they start thinking about those data mechanisms and stuff around. You have 64 and you're still running in a traditional style and doing it well. How do you do it?
Too traditional to believe, right?
Okay.
But we have an ERP.
Okay.
We don't have e-commerce, but we have an ERP. Anyway, yeah, so we are very traditional, yet we focus on the convenience factor. We create a value for our customers through not just for value for money, but also value for time. We understand that people value convenience, quick checkout, quick reach, as good as they value the money spent. Now, our value is created through, we know that we do not provide the experience or luxury of shopping. We tell our customers, this is grocery shopping. You spend time with your family, you have fun at home. You don't have to spend too much time on doing your grocery. We'll provide you the service, the convenience, and we'll provide you good quality, fresh products delivered free of cost on time. If you come to our stores, no frills, select your products within 5 minutes, quick checkout, and go back home. So this is the convenience, and we know our target segment, and they really value it. Now, shops are small. They don't have any back office, back go down. Every space is selling space. And we keep our costs low. That's how we do not overcharge. We don't have to charge for deliveries. So even for, people, some housewives call us that, haldi khatam ho gaya, abhi mil sakta hai? हाँ, 5 minutes mein mil jayega, wait. So we have a very loyal base of customers, and since the catchment is small, most of our employees know our customers by face, by name. So there is a familiarity, there is a personal greeting. Some of our elderly senior citizen customers, they depend on our employees, our stores so much. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि they say, भाई इसको kitchen में लगा दो. So grocery जाके kitchen में लगा भी देते हैं. So a very loyal base is created like that. I personally know some of the customers who come to our stores just to sit and have a cup of tea and chat with our people and then go back. I mean, barish ho ya dhoop ho, they'll just come to have a cup of tea. So catchment is small, there's a familiarity, there is good service, and that's how we create value. We know that we will not provide a good product range, gourmet products, luxury products. We will not provide deep discount. We give good promotions, but we do not do deep discounting. And this works. So we don't try to do everything for everybody. We know we are not for everybody. We just simply try to do whatever we are best at in the best possible way for our segment of customers.
Brilliant. So, I mean, there's learning for all of us, when we do traditional business like that, still calling on the stores and no frill merchandising is not something that you widely see around. Kailash ji, I will again come back to you. In terms of, do you have a process for training where some of the key elements, like, these are the key visions that you want to set up for your team, the 3 key factors you want to set up for your team. Can you say 3 things which is very, very important for you that you now talk to your team about it, they filter it down the line to their team members, and that helps you to deliver this kind of consistent service? 3 things which for you as an organization which is very, very important.
So let me tell you a little deeper before I answer your 3 things. Haldiram as a brand is very less talked about. Yes. And as a family, we always believe that let's do it, build the foundation. Of course, the time will come when you have enough opportunity to talk about that. Secondly, as a brand, we have very little visibility in the marketing space, whether it's ATL or BTL. Yeah. And still we have a very large customer base. It's primarily because the brand has huge connect with all segment of the society, whether it's SEC A or B or C, all demographic, because the product offering is such, it suits the palate of everybody.
Yes.
Hence, it puts added responsibility on the brand to ensure that you cater to everybody's need. Unlike many other food brands, because if you go to the food court, why food courts are in certain places very successful? Because in a group of 4 or 5 members of the family, some people like burgers, some might not like burgers, some might like pizza, some might like some Indian food. Hence, food court works. But that's something which is very much evident when you walk into an Haldiram, because you get everything of the choice, whether it's a 10-year-old kid or a senior citizen. Hence, the important thing is that what's something which is connecting them and binding them together. So the first thing is about taste. As I said, taste is absolutely no compromise.
Great.
And let me tell you that this is one very rare brand where everything is all in-house integrated. There's no OEM who supplies even the spices also. It's all in-house, everything. And hence, it makes all the more very strong reason to have a process control at every stage. You're sure what you are giving to the customer. While we have that control in our hand, we also ensure that how can we make things so simple which can be delivered across the counter to the customer. And hence we are continuously working on simplifying the back-end process. Because if you want everything to be done at the outlet, that makes the process more tedious, and there are always chances of getting inconsistent product. And hence, this is the endeavor which is there every day, that how can we shift the process load back into our own factory where we can ensure that 50-60% is all done there and less time is required and less manual intervention is required across the counter. The second most important thing which we always keep imbibing the values into our staff. We have almost more than a team size of 7,000 plus people, is about authenticity. It's it's an authentic Indian brand. Okay. And that is where you find that whatever we say, it's delivered. If you talk about sweets, you talk about any kind of product, if we say it, it's done. So it's not about that if you are using ghee, there's some other thing is happening. It's done. Wow. So that need not have to be said. A lot of places you'll see that people write, it's made with this product, this. We don't have to say that. The consumer who consumes, they can make out. So that's why we believe that when we are authentic, the message come across very well to the customer. And that's a trust which we build. And third, to answer the question, that the training department which we have, I can absolutely say with a lot of conviction that it is at par with a lot of multinational. We have a huge training setup for all levels, right from the staff member to the restaurant management team, staff team, and to the mid-management and top management. There are management training modules with which we ensure that just not their hard skill, but the soft skills are also addressed. And we, within the organization, address our outlet manager not as an outlet manager, but they are the business manager. Because that's how they understand the business very well. It's not about just doing the job of 9 to 6 and going home. They own it. Yeah. It's their brand. Yeah. And that's the connect. When you speak to any of the staff, they'll say, it's my Haldiram. Yeah. So these are all value system which you it doesn't happen overnight. Right. It requires a lot of persistent effort to build that. And morning, evening, in the shift hurdles, we talk about the value system in every outlet. If you happen to go early morning before the outlet open, we talk about the value system.
Right. Thank you. I got my answer. So, I mean, if you guys are looking at opening something like Haldiram, the 3 basic things, that is very, very important. So you already said the secret. But anyways, Vineet, coming back to you. We know we've been working in retail for so long, and we know that there is always a certain amount of empathy, apologetic nature to consumers, listen to the consumers. These are the basic things in retail format, anything that you talk about. Technology doesn't normally come there because people come first. Technology probably comes next. Okay? How do you balance this thing at your store? In terms of how much should be human touch, how much should be face-to-face, how much should be online, how much should be offline? Because we still know that listening to consumer, empathizing with consumer, apologizing to the consumer, and doing what the consumer wants is very, very important. Probably they may not be addressed by a technology or by a system. Do you come across something like this on a regular basis? Do you have an experience to share on that subject?
Certainly, yes. I think before talking for the V-MART, I must compliment Kailash first. I think that in the retail or especially the food service business and the fresh food business, I think consistency is the key. Yeah. As you know, in the family also, the mood of the wife and the other people are not good.
Yeah.
the food is not good today.
Correct.
But I think in the Haldiram, whenever you go, I am a loyal customer for you. And whenever you go, I think you will get a consistent quality,
Yes.
consistent taste. So that is amazing, I think. So coming to the consistency part, I think a retail, this is like the word is looking very small, but it's very, very critical. And for that part, like the two things what you touched upon, one thing is the technology, another thing is the human interventions.
Yes.
So both are very critical, and technology is only helping us in terms of like doing the things in the easy manner, in the repetitive manner, so that anyway we have the ERP and everything in place, so that we are using it. But most critical piece is like how you manage your human asset, human values in the organization. So I think that starting from imbibing the overall, your core values of the organization, your value system, I think that is very critical. Then again, it's like the different training programs are there at the different level. At the managerial level, these we are calling store manager and the other floor managers and all. There's a different training programs are there. At the CSA level, those who are directly dealing with the customer, there are different training programs are there. There is a called TTT, train the trainer, etc., etc. Lot of things are there to provide our customers the best experience. I think today when we are talking the customer experience, the world is not only the good experience, best experience. It is like how you obsessed for your customer experience. That's the world is looking for.
Yes.
So I think obviously you have to be very, very consistent what you are giving, what you are providing to your customer, and for that technology anyway we are using it. But I think making your team on toes, making the things alert, somewhere the things would come from the inside also. So you will get only the good food when the people are happy.
Yeah.
You are getting the good product, you are getting the good service, overall experience,
Right.
when your people are very, very happy. So that's very critical piece. So
Yeah, so people is the central focal point for all the business. The consumer is the focal
Absolutely,
point.
absolutely.
So I agree to that. So I'll throw a last questions, and there's going to be general questions to all three of you. Do you think in whatever you're doing, you are able to assess any potential risk of the way you are doing your business? Do you have a mechanism to assess those risks, and do you think you know what you're doing right, and what are the things in the next few years that you need to develop or change to be more focused, or you can say to have a better control on your consumer aspects of it? So is there, we all do businesses in our own way, but we know that you might be doing it in a way it is successful, but I understand there might be some competition coming up, or there might be some change in the environment, internal, external. Like Ms. Biyas, you were telling me, and this challenge is really interesting to know. She has become the training hub of Calcutta. Okay, so what she does is she has got 64 stores, and she gets people from the regional villages. She trains them, and then they are posted by different other supermarkets in the city. So this is a risk factor. This is a challenge. You make a lot of investment on those people by training them. Is there any other risk factors that you see, potential risk factor that you see, and you are working towards it, can be a lesson for all of us?
See, there's always this market risk. As I said, we do not do deep discounting. And, well, sometimes my team gets very disturbed with the online and other offline stores doing deep discounting. I keep telling them, don't worry about what others are doing. You just do your job. You have to understand what we don't want to do and what we want to do. What we are doing, do it the best possible way you can. Give your 200% in it, and you don't have to be afraid. So don't try to please every customer. Just focus on your own customers. Keep them. They will not leave you. So there is the risk, but as long as we are aware of what we do, what we don't do, and do it the best possible way, I don't think there is risk. There is any risk. We can mitigate that risk. And yeah, as everybody was saying, employees, we call them our family. That is the strength of any organization. Attrition will always be there. But if you can inculcate your vision, your faith into your team members and make them a family, not just employees, your partners, your vendors, everybody, and create a whole family out of it, they will stick to you. Employees, your partners, your vendors, and that family will stick to you, and together you can go ahead.
So in a retail, it's one of the most challenging business, let me tell you, and the topmost risk which I see, and this is a suggestion to all the retailers, that change is inevitable. And as a retailer, we should always be prepared to change and innovate. Because with changing time, the consumer's need is changing, and hence you have to keep evolving. The day you think that you have arrived, it's challenging. And hence, if I talk specifically about Haldiram, if you go to outlet which was opened in early 2000 versus the outlet which is opening now, it's absolutely a sea change because it's more modern, it's more contemporary, it suits to the youth, it suits to the family, and it suits to every walk of life. Second important challenge in retail is about your people. How do you ensure that the talent which you have nurtured and made as per your need, they becomes a poaching ground. And that's what we have been struggling for quite some time. And I know a lot of brands do that. So hence, but that doesn't mean that you become complacent and you don't train, because that's your need. And how well you can, retain those people. And it's not a small force. The third important challenge and risk which I see is that in a retail you deal with huge SKUs, and technology intervention is now a must. But the most important point people don't realize, all the technology and all the strategy of retail is discussed in the boardroom, but at the end it is executed by the last man standing. So technology adaptation, that's a big change management which will going to impact the retail in coming 1 decade. I see yesterday, and I'm hoping today, a lot of people will talk about technology, but very few people will talk about technology adaptation, because retailer deal with huge number of people, and most of them are not even graduates. And how do they adopt those technology? That's something which will be very interesting. So long back, I gave one lecture on how India will want to evolve on using the smartphone. Today's smartphone is pretty much everywhere with all walk of life. But still, a lot of people are apprehension in using the ATM machines if you go in a rural area. But it's changing now. It's changing very gradually. So is our staff. They are also trying to adopt, but what pace? That is something which we have to have a very good balance when we start imbibing technology in our organization. That's the role of a leader.
Very, very valid points. Vineet, you want to address some of the things you think?
I think the challenges when we divide, like the external challenges are there, internal challenges are there. Externally, when we are looking in the retail, when anybody enter in the market, or even when I'm talking the online business, I think you have to fight against the people burning a lot of money. And as an organization, we always grow with our internal profits and all. Largely, I can say, right? So you have to fight against the people having the deep pockets, okay? Having they are burning their money like anything, and what just see covered no deep discounting, etc. and etc. And customer experience is the thing. But ultimately, when you are in the same street, okay, the other shop is giving the things at the X price, Y price, or something like that. Somewhere you have to be relevant. So how you to mitigate this kind of the challenge is obviously you have to operate at a very, very low cost. So that is very critical. When I'm looking, I think internally is obviously the how you can retain your people. That is first and foremost thing. How you can become a process-oriented organization. It is the people may come, people may go also, things may change, but somewhere you have to adopt the technology. You have to be very, very process-oriented organization. It's to repeat the thing. There should not be the everyday devising the new wheel kind of. So that is the solution, what we are looking for.
Fantastic, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It was really great. But before I have 30 seconds. If anybody has any questions for the panelists, or then we wrap it up. So we understood. It was a great, insightful discussion. I'm sure we've been able to touch down those points. And humble beginning, remarkable achievements. You know what you are doing. You know what you need to do. You understand your risk. You know your top 3 priorities, and you're doing it really well. And I thank you once again for being a panelist to this wonderful discussion we had on this session. I hope it was useful for the audience as well.